Before we begin, it is important to acknowledge that we are on stolen land of the Shianu Beecher Bay First Nations. This land was not ours. We are still on stolen land. We still have no treaty that was fairly signed by the rightful owners of this land. This colonial past, based on years of oppression and genocide of Indigenous people, is what allows us to be here tonight, celebrating Asian Pacific culture. Please continue to reflect on this throughout the show tonight.
Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait to get this show started. To give our Apac show a nice and energetic start, I invite you guys to get out of your seats and come up close to the stage, because we're going to call the one on the stage that doesn't even need an introduction. Everyone give it up for DJ David!
Also, just a reminder, please continue to wear your mask throughout the show. Thank you.
Get up! Get up! showing me how doing so great. Yeah. 착한 얼굴에 그렇지 못한 태도 간녀린 몸에 쓱 가려진 볼륨은 두 배로 거침없이 찍힌 굳이 보진 않지 넌지 쉽게 웃어주는 날 위한 거야 아직은 잘 모르겠지 그저 원하면 test me 넌 돌보고 싶어해 만나는 너 있다면 어디든 hit you with that 지금 내가 걸어가는 거린 Blackpink 4-way 사거리 동선 한복 잡아가는 running 이는 버킷리스트 싹 다 버려 널 때리는 것도 멀리 미치는 것도 제 멋대로 하는 bag 조금 싫어하고 누가 뭐라 하든 with a bass drop it's another bang 그거 생각해 I told you that I never would. I told you I changed. Even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay. Need you to stay. Get drunk, wake up, I'm wasted. Still realize the time that I wasted. I feel like I can't feel the way I found these fucked up if you can be right. Be fucked up if you can be right. I told you that I never would. I told you I changed. Even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to
Thank you, David, for starting off the show with those bangers.
This next song is Takumi's all-time favorite because he annoyed so many people by playing this last year in the Techie Day room. But today it'll be performed by Ira and Stephanie, thank goodness. Here is a song called Sparkle from the movie Your Name. Your Name! And reminder, please don't come on the stage and dance because it goes against the COVID protocols, but yeah. Thank you. Wow, wow, wow. I don't know about you all, but I'm starting to get into the Apac vibes. And the beauty of Apac doesn't stop here because up next we have Omi with this beautiful spoken word. So please give it up for Omi.
Hi guys. Today I'm gonna do something that I never thought I would do before coming to Pearson, but here I am. So basically, I'm going to perform a spoken word about something that is a huge part of my identity. For those of you who don't know, my father is Chinese. My mother is half French, half Indian. I was born in France, but I've lived in China my whole life. And while growing up, this mixture of ethnicities and cultures often left me extremely confused when people asked me where I was from. And I've been trying to decide how I wanted to present this for the past 3 weeks, and this was my final choice. This is something that I don't talk about often, and this is the first time that I put these emotions into words, and I decided the Apac Regional Day would be the perfect moment for me to do this. Eyes. Eyes see, eyes look. I stare, you stare. Who am I and who are you? Eyes are wise. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Am I what you see? 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Brown, the color of my skin, like my Indian grandfather. Yellow, like my Chinese father. White, like my French grandmother. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Can you imagine that after 5,000 years of human civilization, China and India still battle over who has had the longest standing civilization? India boasts inventing the first universities in the world and the concept of zero. China to have invented paper and printing and recorded history in minute details, while India always believed in the impermanence of everything. And the French claim they have invented love and logic, a conflict in itself, right? And yet, we have not been able to figure out how to resolve inequality between humans, injustice, and racism. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. When you look at me, do you wonder if I belong? Do Do I wonder if I belong? 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Eyes should be wise. Our ancestors are migrants. We are all migrants. Your crooked left ear or the color of your hair may come from your Greek ancestors thousands of years back and have nothing to do with the country you were born in or where your parents think they come from, or even the flag under which you sing your songs of nationalism. We share 99.9% of our DNA. Am I a migrant? Are you a migrant? You see me as a vagrant? 眼睛是心灵的窗口. We share 99.9% of our DNA, yet that 0.1% of difference is what makes each and every one of us unique. Am I mixed blood? 我说混血吗? Are you mixed blood? 你说混血吗? 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Are we not all 混血? Mixed blood, as the Chinese like to say. We are all a mixture of blood from our fathers and our mothers. Does that not make us all mixed? 眼睛是心灵的窗口. When I stand with the Chinese, they think I'm not Chinese. When I stand with the Indians, they think I'm not Indian. And when I stand with the French, they wonder how I speak French. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Nationality, identity, superiority, inferiority, interiority. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. So if every one of us is unique, do we wear our cultures on our faces? One person could look 100% Chinese and be culturally Canadian or French, or someone who looks from an African country and be Belgium or Spanish. Someone who looks white could be entirely of Chinese culture. Do we still wear our cultures on our faces? Do we owe an answer to people's curiosity on delivering our ancestors' stories upon one meeting? Do we need to fall within a physical prison box of fitting into prefabricated, outdated, antiquated, pre-made concepts of who we are, and that those answers can be known by one look at someone? What if we slowed down? What if we accepted that no one wears their culture on their faces? Not anymore, at least. We may move on to something much more interesting in our shared experience of being human. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Approval. Others' perception. There are as many opinions about you as there are people on the planet. 眼睛是心灵的窗口. Maybe we come on this earth in a complete version of ourselves, but we take a lifetime to discover what that is. See, like me, I'm a crepe, a dosa, and a lobby all at the same time. And guess what? They're all a different version of the same thing, a pancake. We each have one true note we are supposed to sing, and that is our diversity. The song of diversity is what will make us ultimately stronger. It is stronger than armies and tanks and any weapon. Making the worship of our diversity our new spiritual path may be what will lead us to resolve the global problem of inequality and racism, and ultimately, injustice. As Gandhiji said, when asked what his message was, he answered, "My life is my message." So it is for each of us. Up to us to wake up and make our own lives our message.
Naomi, that was truly incredible. Thank you for sharing those touching words. Now, I hope everyone's ready for the next act. Make some noise for the Filipinos!
Yes, Jamie! Go, Stan!
Damn, Simeon. You can really move those legs, can't you? Thank you for the Pino dancers for sharing that with us. And next up, we're going to have a performance to a song called The Countryside Painting, which is dedicated to the rice agriculturists all the way in Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah.
Trời xanh xanh bao la, mây trắng 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 xóa, tia nắng tưng bừng chiếu trên đôi vàng. Đàn chim non, đàn diêu diêu rít hót, tung cánh bay nhẹ lướt trên cành lá đà. Từ xa nghe thoáng thoáng tiếng hát, con nữ bên đồng lúa ca lời mưa màng. Tang ting, du khách nâng nhẹ phim buông nhẹ tơ vàng. Hỏi nắng hỏi sóng lên, hỏi soi buồn lên. Ngày buổi sáng người hoa vang đàn hoa tình ta nhịp nhàng và xa. La 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 Con gì đẹp thương, con gì buồn vui vào ngày buồn với gặp được hạnh vơi. La 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 chàng trai vui câu ca, con nữ tiếng hát, em bé nô đùa dẫn luôn mình tươi cười. Quê hương ngày vui với thóc lúa mới, cho bỏ công cày cấy bao ngày mong chờ. Chàng trai say, con nữ xa, em bé đưa miệng cắn đôi hạt lúa vàng. Đừng trăng nhiều lên cao, soi sáng khắp nơi xóm, ai nấy vui lòng trời xanh xanh bao la, mây trắng 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 xóa, tia nắng tưng bừng chiếu trên đôi lúa vàng. Đàn chim non, đàn diêu rít hót, tung cánh bay nhẹ lướt trên cành lá đà. Từ xa nghe thoáng thoáng tiếng hát, con nữ bên đồng lúa ca lời mưa màng. Tang ting, du khách nâng nhẹ phim buông nhẹ tơ vàng. Hỏi nắng hỏi sóng lên để làn hoa thăng hoa, hỏi gió cuốn lên để đường sông mát hơi. Ngày buổi sáng người hoa vang đàn hoa tình ta nhịp nhàng và xa. La la con gì đẹp thương, con gì buồn vui vào ngày mùa mới gặp về tận nơi. La la chàng trai vui câu ca, con nữ cất tiếng hát, em bé đùa dẫn luôn tiếng tươi cười. Đồng quê hôm nay vui với thóc lúa mới, cho bỏ công cày cấy bao ngày mong chờ. Chàng trai say, con nữ xa, em bé đưa miệng cắn đôi hạt lúa vàng. Đừng trăng nhiều lên cao, soi sáng khắp nơi xóm, ai nấy vui làm với muôn ngàn câu hò. Đừng trăng nhiều lên cao, soi sáng khắp nơi xóm, ai nấy vui làm với muôn ngàn câu hò. Đừng trăng nhiều lên cao, soi sáng khắp nơi xóm, ai nấy vui làm với muôn ngàn câu hò. La
That was thank you in Vietnamese, by the way. Thank you. That was really good. So up next, we have Maisin, Alina, Stephanie, Flora, Joyce, and Patrick. We will be singing an absolutely beautiful song called 大鱼 from the movie 大鱼海棠, Big Fish in Begonia.
楚之南有名邻居，以500岁为春，以500岁为秋。上古有大春者，以8000岁为春，以8000岁为秋，此大年也。
失眠来自没出国的时候，纵然一直不会自然又如何？世界万千发现我们的眼中，剑影交错，而我悄不入前方撼动，一笑过苍穹，长江刺破云霞，放下一生牵挂，望着寒月如牙，孤身匆忙，生死无挂，风卷残骑列甲，血染万里黄沙，成败笑谈之间，与青史留下。我在四面埋伏十面楚歌的时候，把酒与苍天对酌，纵然一直不会此战又如何？谁见万卷齐发，星光满天夜如昼，刀光剑影交错，而我枪出如龙，乾坤撼动，一笑破苍穹，长江刺破云霞，放下一生牵挂，望着寒月如牙，孤身匆忙，生死无挂，风卷残骑列甲，血染万里黄沙，成败笑谈之间，与青史留下。
That was such a heartwarming song. Thank you so much again. For our next performance, Danielle, Darby, and Bella will get us moving by showing us some nutbush dance skills. We encourage everybody to get up and join the dance as well. Let's give a huge welcome to our Pacific, please.
Okay, so before we start, we just wanted to acknowledge that coming from colonized countries of the Pacific, we hold a lot of privilege, and unfortunately, none of us are able to represent the indigenous communities from our countries. So we encourage you to do your own research and find from indigenous sources other forms of authentic New Zealand or Aotearoa New Zealand and Australian culture. Okay, so we want everyone to follow along, so if you could stand up and stay in your seats, or just don't come on stage. Okay, so before we start, we're just going to show you real quick the dance move. It's quite easy. So you're going to start doing 2 taps to the side. 1, 2, follow along. And other side, 1, 2, back, 1, 2, and other leg, 1, 2. And now you're going to do 2 knees, 1, 2, other side, 1, 2, and kick, kick. Then, this is the tricky part, you're going to jump your legs out, cross, out, in, and when you jump in, you clap. Alright, sit.
Bush dance? Now bring your attention back to the stage because the next performance is a traditional dance from Timor-Leste.
Viola linda torneo, ayola viola linda, l'onde che la viola nona, viola linda deve divorare, viola linda deve divorare, viola linda torneo. Ayola linda, lo mete la velai, linda debe dimordia, la linda debe dimordia. Aku la bele harenggresi, ai terliburmu tuh di tebe. Lolo limang ba malu di takkan tiga, la linda debe dimordia, la linda debe dimordia.
I hope everyone had a good break and enjoyed the first part of the show. And congratulations, Aziz, again for winning the Kahoot. So as today is a very special day, we will start the second part of the show with special guests. And apparently they have been practicing since October to perform in front of you all today. So please give a warm welcome to this special group.
Thank you, BTS, for that breathtaking performance. And holy crap, Sean is smart, handsome, and he can dance! He really does come as a full package. Now, please give a warm welcome to Pearson's lovely music cast group who will be performing a Japanese song called Castle in the Sky.
Thank you to the incredibly talented music cast. Let's have one more round of applause. Now, let's continue with the groove with some Vietnamese, with some people performing a Vietnamese dance with fans.
Now, everybody, please get ready. As next up, we have Jerry. Who will be... Tonight, Jerry's gonna be following in his second year's footsteps by performing a Chinese rap song by PG Wang. Jerry! Someone please take a video of this for Roti. Yeah, so everyone, please give it up for Mr. Jerry.
Alright, okay. So, how guys manage Jerry? Year 47, he can pronounce from Clubhouse. And as some of you may know that last year's Apac, one of my second years, whose name is Tian, he performed a brilliant rap song, and this year I think it's necessary for me to continue his legacy. And the song I'm gonna rap is a Chinese rap song that is inspired by Japanese animation. And it's gonna be high energy, so my tip for you is to move, to jump, to shout, and to do whatever you want to. DJ, put my beat on the table.
What's up？ 你们有中二病吗？
你们有中二病吗？
The red flower.
Shout out to PG1, Triple H. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. 我的当中，从我开始发梦，我的超能力提醒我有些事情马上发生，可我还有工作要开会。和路牌百岁，回到偶尔谈了抗，不知何时能再会，所以要带我的红米之外，B D 准备在上市，当然还是努力让我小区才是我的胃，吃完菜要三次，做龙一路我关注，就让不是你让我们去，被我们战术才加我心思，我把你整个高的决定全搞过，高屋面会知道变过，你不可能继续玩老婆，要修炼，把你修炼，做我认同那个接纳，我有我的感受，他加上金山闪耀飞。相信我，管你要你妹，我被你像小一样嘞。他们都叫我中二病，加上金山闪，我管你要你妹，我被你像小一样嘞。Sako, yeah I'm a Sako, only one Sako. 要是要出不散变，真的会把我们忘记。我今年的事业，为你决定要做残酷的套路，在马路上有血病。别让半天看快点笑，可是一直看着笑。我知道我有中二持续长他们都长得我看到这样笑，力量明明摆在眼前。老子是反派，我傻坏，为什么我这么惨败？过来下所有的反派，这次我就是要反弹。老子要把这个扭曲的、丑陋的、虚伪的切撕裂。既然了我对人性错的不是我，错的是这个世界所怕你最后的大魔王。我靠你最后的大魔王，我靠你最后的大魔王，我靠你这。Everybody, hands up, let's go one more time. One. 难得叫我说，看家乡金山闪耀飞，相信我管你要你命，我被你像小一样嘞。他们都叫我，相信我管你要你命。
it's just getting better and better. And this definitely won't be the last time Jerry will be performing for us. So please stay tuned for the next ones.
And now, we're gonna have our dancers performing to the song Bakadi Bakadi Boom from Singapore. Give it up.
And just a reminder, please wear your mask at all times. Thank you.
Suara gendang bertalu-talu, serentak hati bingung dalam hati siapa tahu. Kolam di dusun dek, airnya penuh, hujan larinte, mendung berlalu. Senjata racun dek, tiada membunuh, cinta yang murni dibawa mati. Suara gendang bertalu-talu, serentak dalam hati siapa tahu. Suara gendang bertalu-talu, serentak hati bingung dalam hati siapa tahu. Janganlah suka dek makan ketimun, ketimun itu banyak getahnya. Janganlah suka dek duduk melamun, melamun itu banyak susahnya. Suara gendang dari seberang, serentak hati bingung kalau adik suka temberang. Suara gendang dari seberang, serentak hati bingung kalau adik suka temberang. Kolam di dusun dek, airnya penuh, hujan larinte, mendung berlalu. Senjata racun dek, tiada membunuh, cinta yang murni dibawa mati.
Thank you, Malay dancers, for sharing some of the dance culture from Singapore to all of us. Now, up next, we have another spoken words, but this time with Iris. So, without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Iris.
Hi everyone, my name is Iris, year 47 from Taiwan. And start of this small lecture, I would like to tell you a disclaimer regarding the times I will use the term China. When I say this word, I do not mean the Chinese people as a whole. I'm talking about the Chinese Communist Party. So please do not be offended, as I do hope for a better future, as well as respect, and do not wish any ill thoughts toward the people of China. And I love you all my Chinese friends.
Love you, Iris! Love you, support!
So, for many of you who might have no idea what, or for some people who Taiwan is, Taiwan is formerly known as the Republic of China, despite never getting any help from China in times of crisis. We have been living in the long-lasting purgatory between trying to set ourselves apart as an independent country and pushing towards bettering the world, but almost always being stopped from pushing towards further innovations. While a multitude of countries already acknowledges Taiwan as an underdog powerhouse that can face up to leading industries despite its size, Taiwan is still looked down upon and ignored in terms of more worldly caused by a towering force. Examples such as the coronavirus breakout place as one of the most recent and influential examples. Taiwan campaigned profusely to be part of the World Health Organization, where we knew that we could be a large help not only in research, but also in developing a vaccine for the virus that could be used to help people around the world. We were still left out of each talk and each conference. When I say that I'm Taiwanese, there are a lot of connotation to those words, or in this case, label. Like every religious affiliation or cultural identity, we put a label on ourselves to differentiate and diversify ourselves from people around the world. Sometimes these labels are used against people in xenophobic and racist way, but through every storm, there is still a silver lining. Sometimes these labels can tell a beautiful story. When the Chinese people first moved to Taiwan, for the longest time, they saw that Taiwan was just going to be a temporary home and they would return to China when everything was calmer. But they have fallen in love the longer they stayed, as each of us had patriotic love for our nation, as it is defining a portion of ourselves. The longer this Chinese national stayed in Taiwan, the more in love they fell with this Formosa. Soon, they not only label themselves as Chinese, but Taiwanese as well. Recently, I have been asking myself the question of what it meant to truly be Taiwanese. Before I came to Pearson, I would chat with all the other UWC Taiwanese students on what it meant to be Taiwanese. Because, like China, we share a very similar culture. The Peking Opera is one of our traditional theater performances. We wear qitao to represent our country's traditional clothing. These are all from Chinese traditions. So does that mean my whole country is Chinese? Because of that, China uses those examples as a way to force Taiwan into submitting itself as China. This has become one of the most controversial topics for all Taiwanese. But sometimes we are still humor with us, calling ourselves international orphans. Even with Taiwan's roaming economic growth in the last 100 years, we are still not a part of the United Nations. This had a real-world implication for me, as I used to be an avid Model United Nations delegate. I once took a taxi and struck a conversation with a driver as he asked me what I was doing, and as I began to explain to him, he began to say I was wasting my time. As Taiwan wasn't even a part of the UN, so why was I wasting my time? I knew that Taiwan was not a part of the UN, and it didn't seem like we ever would be with China constantly at our fronts, blocking every possible entrance. This is not to say that Taiwan was excluded all this time. Taiwan was actually one of the first 5 permanent Security Council members, as ironic as that sounds. Before 1949, Taiwan had a stellar 52 diplomatic relations. But as time flew, so did our diplomatic relations. In a matter of just a few decades, Taiwan had lost more than half of its diplomatic relations due to political upheaval by the Chinese government, trying to reclaim their territory by offering countries more money as well as intimidating them to leave Taiwan with threats of violence. The Taiwanese people have never had it easy, with China always claiming that they will unify Taiwan through military force, while always having 1,400 missiles aimed and ready to fire at the sound of an order. My family is affected by this in the manner that my father works in the rather high position in the Taiwanese government. We subject him to multiple restrictions and be monitored and under surveillance whenever he visits China for work purpose. This indirect affects me as well, due to my father's position. If I were ever study in China, I would have to sign a number of contracts, as well as be in the constant position of fear of my life due to the already growing tension between our countries. Even with all of this, I love my country. I love Taiwan. Taiwan has been nothing but good to me. We may be small, but we aren't call ourselves the heart of Asia for nothing. So I know my answer when people ask me, where I'm from or who I am. So don't call me Chinese, I'm Taiwanese. Thank you.
Iris, that was so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing your voice and your story today with us. Up next, we have Jill, Joyce, and Trista who will be introducing their country, Taiwan, with us. So please give a warm welcome to Jill, Trista, and Joyce.
Go Jill!
许个愿吧。
那长春藤攀上生锈的小房船，像蝴蝶离不开有花香的地方。宁静的小巷，一杯永和豆浆，我在细细品尝恬淡的家乡。霓虹灯点亮，关于夜市的想象，孩子们捉迷藏，在找爱吃的糖。黄黄的夕阳，龙山寺的老墙，我虔诚点着香，手拿一株希望。少一点仇恨，多一点的我们，少一点寒冷，多一点的温存，用荒草写郁闷，用风抱住一座城，马祖永恒，世世代代的虔诚。平原的那首歌是一整片幸福的颜色，黑洞还位于季节的愉快乐，一路蜿蜒的是淡水河，那东山的是太冷的快乐天的情歌。玲珑纸伞怎么折，伞衣不掉什么壳，这块土地上有很多很多的选择，仔细看着把家乡的装独特。我说亲爱亲爱的，我们故事说到这。美丽的福尔摩沙，海风轻轻地刮，风筝抵抗风沙，不愿放手的是牵挂。灵魂的客家童话如雨落下，喝杯家乡的擂茶，我重温家乡话。在旅行的路上，有些事我们慢慢讲，有个热情的地方，名字叫台湾。我用心歌声嘹亮，月亮在东海岸，小米酒飘香，丰年祭礼我虔诚。
be grateful once again with another piece from Taiwan called Thank You.
I'm gonna tell that, so Taiwan, this land, has been colonized by a lot of countries, and we are all the guests of this land. This land belongs to our indigenous community, but unfortunately, we don't have anyone to represent Taiwanese indigenous, so we use this song to appreciate our indigenous community.
Thank you so much for sharing that song with us. I feel extra grateful right now.
Up next, a group will be showing us some fisherman moves. So without further ado, please welcome the Fisherman Dance Crew!
before we call it a wrap, we would like to thank everyone who made APAC APAC. The APAC family would like to express our gratitude to every single one of you for your presence throughout the day today and for making our APAC Day so special. And before we close the show, we have one last performance. Hit it, sound crew.
문제야 say 왜들 그리 다운돼 있어 뭐가 문제야 say something 분위기가 겁나 싸 요새 이런 게 유행인가 왜들 그리 재미없어 그건 나도 마찬가지 Tell me what I got